Hey, what's going on, Los Angeles? What is up, Trojan family? Welcome into the USC LAFB show. I'm your host, Ryan Dyrud, back from my trip. So I know it's been a little quiet these last few days. I was camping in Yosemite. If you have not been to Yosemite, absolutely worth the trip. Absolutely gorgeous. We stayed right in the valley, right at the base of Half Dome and El Capitan and all these gorgeous waterfalls. And yeah, it's the hype is real. It's beautiful. It looks like out of a portrait. So you come across entering. I mean, you enter the park a ways up, where you enter the valley and just the vastness, and you see all these like the rock faces, and it doesn't look real. So being able to stay there for 3 days and kind of unplug was awesome. And so I had a great time. But we are back now, and of course, back into a lot of USC news. So playing catch up here, we did get the commitment of Vlad Diakonov, offensive lineman. Our great other writer at LAFB, Ryan Anderson, was able to get some content up on that. No video on him. So I'll just briefly mention, I think this is another good commit. 3-star kid out of Folsom, but keeps that pipeline with Folsom, NorCal. Obviously, for those that know, that's where Ryder Lyons goes to high school, 5-star quarterback. And so just getting more of that kind of Folsom pipeline in the NorCal Bay area, I think is great. And I think Vlad is potentially an underrated 3-star big kid that I think can develop with Josh Hansen and potentially be a really good offensive tackle. He'll need to put probably a little bit more weight on. I think he's listed around 290, 295, but at 6'7" height, certainly has the body to put more on and has a good quick first step. So just another great addition, I think, an underrated one that won't, get the headlines of the 4 and 5 stars, the blue chippers, but one that certainly is a good addition and keeping another Cali kid home. Kid had a lot of offers all over the country, so I think there's a lot of programs that probably deemed him higher than maybe that 3-star ranking. So another good addition. Just I'll keep it short and sweet. Obviously, that happened earlier in the week. We are on the weekend now. Yeah, it's Saturday, so that happened on like Wednesday, I want to say. But the big news really wanted to cover quarterback Nico Iamaleava out of Tennessee has, I guess, entered the transfer portal. Not official, I guess, until it's so weird how these announcements come. The portal's not officially open until Wednesday. But he is leaving Tennessee over NIL disputes. Immediately when there was even reports of NIL disputes, I want to say Pete Nakos of On3 was on it first. Again, while I was in Yosemite, but getting some updates here and there. USC was automatically linked, obviously with the heater they are in recruiting, with the empowerment of Chad Bowden, with the updated NIL funding. It seems like any kind of big name player gets linked to USC, as it should. I mean, you want that. You want USC to be linked to every potential great player prospect out there. So they were automatically linked. For those that don't know, Iamaveala is a local kid. Went to Warren High School in Downey. He's from Long Beach. His brother, Madden Iamaveala, said the name so many times trying to say it right, was originally committed to UCLA, and in like the 11th hour, flipped his commitment to Arkansas in the SEC. So both brothers were going to be in the SEC. Now, Nico, the redshirt sophomore, reports are, his NIL per year. So he's basically given like an $8 million NIL package when he signed at Tennessee. And that was going to be spread out over, you could argue 3 to 4 years based on when you go to the NFL draft. This is not like contractual figures because there are no true contracts, but the reports are this year he was due to make between like 2.1 and 2.3. And then it comes out that at the end of the winter portal, so back in December, him and his team, his side, were asking to up that to $4 million. So nearly double that figure. I'm not going to get into, what's right, what's wrong, what these kids should make. All that, it's a whole other conversation in a episode. We could go down that rabbit hole and just how broken this whole NIL system is, and that there's no governing body with contracts, and that's a whole other conversation. But that's what it was reported. So he wanted $4 million, or his team wanted $4 million. I think, unfortunately, and this is just my opinion, I haven't spoken to Nico or his side, but unfortunately, seeing some of this happen, even with USC, with other players, sometimes it's not even the kid, and they're the ones that get painted in this bad light. Sometimes it's the parents, the manager, the agent. I mean, they're playing this like pro sports. And when you're an agent and you have a client, all you truly care, I'm not saying they don't care about the person, but job-wise, all they care about is getting the most money for their client. And sometimes that person doing that is the father or the mother or the uncle. I think in Nico's case, his dad, from what I've heard, is very involved, but I also think he has like a full team, like a manager, an agent, all that. Usually some of these top-tier guys have that. So anyway, they were demanding that. Tennessee basically, I think the quote was, we're not going to blink, or, no. we feel like we've given you a very lucrative NIL deal that was supposed to last, the duration of your kind of college time here. And they weren't going to budge on that. So then this week, it kind of leaks out that he's unhappy. There was one report that Dan Lanning, Oregon Ducks coach, and I haven't confirmed this, I'm just kind of going through the rumor mill here, that he actually went to Tennessee and said, hey, just a heads up, Nico's team has like reached out to us to talk. So, I mean, if that's true, kudos to Lanning, who I know Oregon has always been kind of painted in this light of tampering, and they're the ones reaching out. And so, again, I haven't confirmed or heard, but I have seen on a message board that someone on Oregon side did confirm that, whether you want to believe or not. So, Nico's team was shopping him. And early indications, and many even up to today is Saturday, have said that USC would be linked to, and UCLA heavily linked, which I'll get to in a second. From what I have heard, and this was the whole point, I'm kind of giving you the backstory. From what I have heard from people I've talked to, is that USC has not contacted Nico or his camp and are not interested in pursuing him. Coach Riley has said many times throughout spring, they're really happy with the QB room. They're happy with the progression and development of what they've seen from Iamaleava as potential QB1. He has said there will be a QB competition. He's not naming Iamaleava the starter right now in April, but he certainly has a leg up over freshman Husan Longstreet and over the transfer in Sam Heward. So, just because he says all that doesn't mean they might, look around, see who's out there, if they can upgrade. But based on what I've been told, they have not contacted their camp. Now, that doesn't mean Nico's camp didn't contact USC to gauge interest. And if you're getting contacted, you might answer the phone and have a conversation, wherever that looks like. I haven't heard whether or not that has actually occurred. But based on what I've heard is they haven't reached out, and they are not interested in pursuing bringing him in, replacing essentially Iamaleava. Because in this NIL era, I don't care what anyone says. Like, if Nico were to transfer here, Iamaleava would then hit the portal. It's not like, oh yeah, let's just have a 4 quarterback competition. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. Iamaleava would be gone. So does USC want to replace that chemistry that they've been building, the development they've been making with Iamaleava, the relationships that he's been making, with the USC staff, with the USC players, with this receiving core, the Jacoby Lane, the Mekhi Lemons of the world that he's been progressing with this running back room. You replace that just a few months out of fall camp, spring camp, by the time the portal, this is what's so weird about these portal windows. Like, the portal opens, but then spring camp's pretty much over. So yeah, they can transfer here in the spring, but the spring camp's over. I mean, they're not getting any reps. Then it's the offseason program, which there's definitely team stuff going on, but it's not like a full on football practice, running plays and building that chemistry. So he would basically be coming into fall camp behind in terms of knowledge of the system Husan Longstreet. And I get the kid is talented. I get he was a 5-star. I get he's from LA. I get all that. But you would have to pay a guy $4 million to come in and essentially be behind your true freshman in Longstreet and, a transfer backup in Heward. Because you still got to, Tennessee runs a completely different offense than what Lincoln Riley and USC is going to run. Not saying he couldn't pick it up. Not saying the kid's not talented. But I personally don't think that would be the wise decision. Now, whatever you think about Iamaleava, like if this could have happened in the winter, then maybe that'd be a different story. Because you get him in here, then he has a full spring camp to build with the team, get acclimated. You got the summer, then you get fall camp before the season. But to me now at this stage, it's way too late. Like now you're bringing in the spring portal. To me, is you're bringing in pieces that can kind of add depth, situational role player, not your starting quarterback, in my opinion. Some programs, that'll still be an upgrade. UCLA right now, which I don't think they have the NIL budget, and if they do, they're basically going to blow the entire thing on this to get it done. And they just got kind of spurned by his brother, as I mentioned, chasing more for Arkansas. And there's a lot of other people, specifically here at this network that cover UCLA, that would know more on that than I. So it's interesting that they would be kind of in on that. But they are a team that needs a starting caliber quarterback. Chase Garbers, for them, he's going to the NFL draft. He's out of eligibility. Their other quarterback hit the transfer portal that was kind of deemed as the future. So he hit the portal at the end of the year. And so they're kind of, I'm not saying they don't have some talent on the roster, but he would be a huge upgrade that, yes, they would be behind the eight ball, being this late, just like every other team. But I think his talent elevates that much more to where it could make sense for them. USC, I don't see that. People can argue he's more talented than Iamaleava. I mean, under 3,000 yards passing last year, 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I want to say, I don't have it in front of me, but 11 of those 19 came against like division non-power 4 opponents. And then 4 of those remaining, like 6 came against Vanderbilt. So what, less than 5 SEC touchdowns? And it doesn't tell the whole story, obviously. And Tennessee was a very good team that he led. But that's a lot of risk. Like you're not bringing over a Heisman candidate. And again, things can change quickly in college football. So I'm kind of showing both sides here, right? Like Cam Ward was a very good quarterback at Wazoo. Then he goes to Miami, and he's the number 1 overall pick. 1 year can change a lot, whether it's the actual program, the players around you. Jaden Daniels, a very good quarterback at Arizona State, goes to LSU, wins the Heisman, number 2 overall pick, looks great in the NFL already. So I have no doubt, and this is nothing against Tennessee or Josh Heupel, I have no doubt, just because of who Lincoln Riley is, that Nico could come here and probably develop better just purely from the quarterback position. And we could see a big jump. My big thing, and I'll just reiterate, I just think it's too late in this season. So I know fans out there, and rightfully so, I mean, this is the point of debate and discourse in this, is fans out there will say, hey, if you have an opportunity to upgrade, you do it, no matter what time of year it is. I understand that. I just don't know if it would be an upgrade because of what time of year it was. Again, if this was the winter, different story. But now, going in to mid-April, spring camp's about to be done, I think it's too late. So that is my opinion. But then based on what I've heard, USC echoes that. And they are happy with their room. They're happy with Iamaleava. And I think Iamaleava can make a big step. I mean, I've said before, definitely some growing pains. But the dude showed some moxie. The dude showed poise. You could see the athleticism and arm talent. Like, there's no denying he has the capability to be a really good quarterback. It's going to be the progression and the smart decision-making that will separate him from a talent to a really good Big Ten quarterback. But I honestly believe, and this is not being a homer, based on when you look at the returning Big Ten quarterbacks, and we could look full picture for now, I'll just say Big Ten, I truly believe he has the ability to be one of the top ones in the entire conference. With this offense, with this head coach, with this running game, Lincoln Riley's talked about how excited he is about the running back room. So having that complement, I have no doubt that Iamaleava can make that next step. And he showed promise in those games at the end of the season, in those comebacks, in that comeback win against UCLA, against Texas A&M in the bowl game. It's just eliminating some of the negative plays, and he's looking top flight. So I think you roll with that. You stick with the chemistry. You got to, some of this, I mean, remember, these are still 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids. NIL's changed everything. But in terms of mentality, these are still young men developing, and sometimes they just need that confidence. Like, hey, okay. Because, Jaden's hearing this noise. He's hearing people out there talking about it. And so if this is true, what I'm hearing, that USC is not interested and they're happy moving forward, how much more confidence does that instill with him? Like, oh, wow, there's this kid, local kid from here, high recruit. They probably have met, I'm sure, know each other, have like kind of inner circles with Polynesian backgrounds. But Coach Riley and the staff rolling the dice with me. That just adds to that confidence level too. So let me know your guys' thoughts. Again, I'll keep reporting on this as soon as I hear things. As of now, that's what I've heard. Things can change quickly. We will see. Again, the portal window's not even open officially. It opens up on Wednesday. So we'll see what this all looks like. But thank you all, as always, for riding with me. Should be a fun remainder of the spring, and then we'll get into kind of the true off season, and obviously recruiting won't stop. June is a huge month for recruiting and for visits, so we'll talk about that. But I'm excited to talk about this team too. Like, I'm loving doing all this recruiting stuff that we're doing, but I'm excited to talk about this 2025 team and some of these upcoming guys. Elijah Newby, that not a lot of people know, that I think there's a lot of excitement about. Jaden Walker, not a lot of people know that there's a lot of excitement about. So I think a lot of these kids, everyone's kind of looking to 2026, and rightfully so. But I think there's a lot from this 24 class that are under the radar. They're now kind of going to be sophomores, and and obviously some of this transfer class in, and then obviously this 25 class and the 23 class as well. I just think there's a lot of excitement actually around this current team as it is. So we'll obviously have a lot of coverage on the spring transfer portal when it does officially open. We'll see if the Trojans are active. We'll see if we do lose any players. I have not heard any rumblings. If the Trojans do lose any players, I personally, and again, if I hear differently, I'll obviously say that, but I personally would think it's more about opportunity and not, being buried down the depth chart and kind of looking elsewhere. But I don't want to speculate right now. As of now, I haven't heard anything of anyone looking to transfer out, other than, Amari and Peterson, who had already announced last week, and we talked about that. So we will keep you updated on that. So thank you all. I'm Ryan Dyer. This is USC LAFB show. As always, fight on.